Hi everyone, Bandanner here. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first Broken Arrow video of this new open beta. I wanted to do sort of a cast over my own game that I recorded while we were playing and talk about my first impressions as well, because obviously there's a few changes and some things are definitely running smoother than others, I would say. So in this game, Protoss, who you know from SD League, Propaganda, Tanner and Jasp, all players from Warno, so we managed to get a 5-stack going. So this game on the new airbase map, well I guess all the maps are new, but you get the idea. I haven't decided where I'm going at this point. I just said to the guys, I'll fill in the gaps, you guys go where you want. I'm planning to drop a nuke. Spoilers! I'm a big fan of dropping the nukes, right? I wanted them in. I was looking forward to them. It's just a bit of fun, you know. It's not something you're going to play with a lot, but it's fun to drop a nuke, let's be honest here. It's pretty. I know people are using them probably a lot right now, but it will sort of tamper down, I think, over the next 2 weeks. And obviously, on the launch of the game, there'll be a lot at the launch, and then it'll drift off again. I'm just going through my deck. It's a USA deck, obviously. I'm just looking at what the other guys are doing, umming and ahhing. This was quite late at night. I think it was after 10 PM. I was quite tired, so I wasn't fully engaged with the game, to be honest, in fairness. But I had a good outcome. I mean, over 12.5 killed to death. Pretty good. I'm just pondering what's happening. I'm going to bring in my Eagle because we've got a couple of jets coming out. The enemy are surely going to bring jets out. Everyone does at the start, right? Surprisingly, they didn't bring out as many as we expected them to. And I mean, I only had the one available because I've got the Lancer in there with the nuke, so obviously, plenty of stuff getting in early. We've got the airborne troops going in on the left there. Here's the enemy jets. I'm just going in. I'm just going for it. This might end horribly, but run and gun. Hope for the best, just charge in. There's no point in turning away once you're engaging. It's just too much risk involved. You're going to get shot in the back. I turn around and I come up behind the Su-34 because why wouldn't I? Got the guns on it. Doing plenty of damage. Down it goes. Come back around, we'll go for the SU. At this point I'm kind of umming and ahhing over whether I should just be pulling this out now. As you can tell, I'm being super helpful to the team. I haven't spent hardly any of my points. I've still got 1,000 there. I think they must have been aware of this at the time. I was pretty vocal on comms. I just hadn't spent anything. But the team's doing really well. Obviously, over on the left-hand side, at the top left-hand corner of the screen there, you can see way up in front there, the guys at that side. I'm bailing my jet out. It's been in there long enough. The air fight's over. Jobbed. You've got Protoss on the right here trying to get into that point. You'll notice me moving my camera around weirdly there. So that was because I felt like the game was chugging. I don't think it comes across as obviously in the video, but just playing it at the time, it felt like it was chugging. And I'm not sure if that was graphical. I think I've got this on high graphics. So unsure about that. Is it running better than the last beta? Probably a little bit better. I still was surprised it was chugging at that point, and everybody else said it was as well. So I'm not convinced it was graphical. I think it was server lag. But it is what it is. So Protoss is getting wrecked at that side. You can still see there's an enemy jet in the air. And I'm just umming and ahhing on what to bring in and how to bring it in. So I've got my Chinook there, and I'm thinking, oh well, I can't actually put much in there because I don't have big squads to bring in. So I end up bringing them in the little vehicles. I might take that Chinook out, to be honest. I don't know. I put it in because I thought I'd be transporting lots of stuff in it, but the reality is I'm probably not going to. So, let's say Protoss having a hard time at that side. He's got a Prowler up, though, looking for radar. I'm thinking about what else I can bring in. I want some AA down here, so I'm bringing my Shorad. I love the Shorad. I think it's a really good little unit. So, that jet goes down. But Protoss's plan in this game is just to keep up a Prowler at all times so you can keep an eye on the enemy radar. You notice that I move my camera very differently when I'm recording and streaming to when I'm just playing the game. I make much more sudden movements, and I apologize because I wasn't really thinking about it at the time. As I say, I was tired. So F is a problem. He's lost it. And I'm just like, well, you know what's going to happen now. Because Protoss has just told me there's no radar AA. And I'm like, right, no problem. I've got this. At this point, I'm apologizing to everyone in case someone's game crashes when I drop this. So they know what's coming. The enemy don't. The enemy, as Protoss said, they don't have any radar AA, or at least certainly not that is enabled at the moment. So they're about to be on the receiving end of a nuke. And I've not seen one before. This is the first one that I had seen. So I was looking forward to this. It was a bit more sudden than I expected, the explosion, I will admit. I thought there was going to be like a short period of the bomb dropping, and then it was going to go. But it's very pretty, I will say that. Kind of just whitewashes the screen for everybody for a few seconds. This was delicious. And I'm just like, I see lots of skulls, but I didn't really click that it had killed very much at the time. It wasn't really going through my head, had I killed very much. I just assumed that I'd, like, killed a unit or two. I didn't think I'd have killed much. But I killed a little bit more than I thought I did. So I've just got a few squads up here. We've got a Recon team and a couple of squads of mech rifles heading in there. Lancer just making sure that's getting out now. It did take a hit. They did have some AA that turned on as it was leaving, but nothing too concerning. I still think the mech rifles are a great squad. Push these up to the front. Shore Rod coming in. Just got it there in case there's any choppers. I've seen a few. Want a bit of coverage. You've got units from the other guys moving across the middle there. Protoss obviously lost quite a bit at the start, but he's still got some over here. You can see pushing into E. We're in a pretty good position, and I've still got 900 points. So a couple of Iron Thunders in. I still think that is an awesome name for a unit, Iron Thunder. They do some work. They'd do more work if I was paying attention and targeting everything all the time. But as I say, I was a bit tired when I was playing. So at the moment, I'm doing pretty well. I don't think I've lost anything yet. And I absolutely smashed one of their players, which I'm so sorry to that player. But I wanted to use the nuke. So, bit of skirmishing over this side of the map. The enemy didn't really appear on the left. As you may have noticed as the camera's moving around, nothing really happened on the left-hand side of the map. All of their players were on the right, I think. I think one tries to push units across to the left, but they have that locked down. And then there's one point where I think they lose a few units and I send some reinforcements, but that's like in 20 minutes time or something. I put my Black Hawk over here and dropped the supplies. Probably should have moved them a bit further forward. I had in my head that the artillery would have a longer range than it does. I probably should have called that in first to check. Because its range is actually relatively short in comparison to what I was expecting. I'm umming and ahhing over what else to call in at the moment. What would be helpful to my team is what I'm thinking. Where do they need support? I like playing that role. I don't know about everyone else, but I like playing the role where I'm just supporting and going here, there, and everywhere. And it's actually a nuisance for me because it means I have to be in multiple parts of the map, but I always find it quite fun. It's good to be flexible. So they've got a lot of this side, and they're being quite aggressive, but we are obviously in total control, realistically. We are absolutely fine. I mean, I'm sitting on 1,300 points, so if I need to, I can tank swarm a point. Which is disgusting, by the way. You still have this situation where you can just build up points and points and points and points and points, and then flood an area with tanks and APCs and whatever else you want. It's still a potential game ender doing that. And I've seen that reported a few times. I'm not sure if they'll look at the funding system and jiggle it around or anything to avoid that happening in the final release. I'm not sure what the plan is there. I'm sure Felix will give plenty of feedback after this test. So I'm just moseying around at the moment with my infantry, just lazily chilling out while I watch my allies get all their units killed at the front. They're my cannon fodder, right? I'm just chilling out. How else do you expect me to get such high kill to death ratios? Gotta use the other people as a meat shield, right? Got my little javelin team over there. That's already... I don't know if it's got its kill yet, but it gets a couple of vehicle kills, I think. Now, one of the guys said they lost their anti-air to the siege, so I thought, well, I'll bring him a Patriot. That'll do the job there. Quite good at turning that on and off. Finally got the artillery in place, and it's like, oh, it's not even in range. I say, I was a bit disappointed with the range of that artillery, to be fair, but it did the job. It got me some kills by the end of this match. How is everyone else finding it, by the way? Do let me know down in the comments. I think there's definitely an improvement in terms of performance. It's not perfect, but it's definitely improved. I think the servers are having issues. I think that's what caused some of the issues I was seeing in this game. I've had a lot of reports of people feel like they're not doing much during the game. I felt like I wasn't doing much, but in fairness, as I say, that was because I was tired and I wasn't calling a lot in. Because I was tired, I think. Protoss is marking any enemy supply points he sees, and I'm just artillerying them as the game goes on. Trying to make use of my artillery, rather than leave it there to do nothing. Just umming and ahhing constantly in this game what to bring in, because the units are not in my mind yet of what they are and what they do. The enemy's doing a really good job of hitting us with ballistic missiles and stuff. I think I've lost at least... I lost my recon squad and I lost an infantry squad up at the front. But I'm not doing horrendously. Over at the other side, you'll notice that they're doing okay at the moment still. We're not quite at the stage where they start to have issues. I say issues. Minimal issues would probably be a fairer term. Mortars seem pretty good, by the way. I don't remember how good they were in the last open beta, but they seem to be doing a good job. The enemy were using them quite a bit, and they were clearing out buildings and stuff, so that was nice to see. I like the fact that mortars do something. What I really wanted to do was bring in the Blam and see how effective that was, but I never got around to it, I don't think. Because I'm hoping that's pretty good against infantry and buildings. I'm trying to see how my artillery is dropping and whether it's being remotely effective. I wasn't feeling very convinced. The spread seemed pretty big. So what we realized, we were having a discussion on Discord. Was it about this time? It was sometime soon. And it was about whether the nukes were missiles or not. And I was like, no. That's my anti-air taking out a jet. But I was like, I think mine's a bomb. And then shortly after we had this conversation, they launched theirs, and the Russian one is a missile. Which seems, I mean, it would be good if both sides or both factions had both a bomb and a missile variant, just to keep it balanced. Because obviously a missile is probably easier to get away with than, you know, losing your B1 Lancer flying it over enemy AA. Chances of your missile getting through is sometimes a little bit more likely. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. pretty solid still. We're heading towards the +3 on both kills and also control. 70% there. That was the... Was that the nuke? Don't think that was the nuke yet, was it? I saw something come down, but I didn't see the flash. We'll know when we go back, because it leaves a massive mark on the ground. A massive decal. I'm still playing around with this Chinook. Seeing how many infantry units I can bring in it. Just bringing all these guys in. And I put them really far back. That was the point where I thought the guys at the other side were struggling maybe a tiny bit. No, the nuke hasn't gone off yet. I was going to say, I'm waiting for my screen to flash. I thought infantry were a lot better in this, by the way. Just while we're thinking about units and things. So I felt like my infantry were doing more damage to other infantry units. It felt like there was, you know, time to kill was a little bit more sensible. Nice bomb drops by one of our allies there. I'm trying to keep my artillery shifting about as always. Always good advice. If you're new to this type of game, keep your artillery moving after you fire. Sometimes it's even worth stopping them firing mid-salvo and just moving them. Because if the enemy's good, they will start firing before you're finished. And again, same goes for your air defense. Keep it moving. Remember, if you've got radar AA, turn it off when you're not using it. Otherwise, those seed planes are going to take it out from a long, long way away. My Chinook has arrived. I probably played this a little bit too safe. I probably could have got it up to the next set of buildings. Rather than pulling them all the way back here. But I guess I'm in no rush. They're not exactly struggling massively. They've just lost a few squads of infantry at the front there. Like, yeah, I want a TOW 2 in that building, right? I mean, it's got a nice tall building with plenty of line of sight. We want to get a TOW 2 in there. I've got a couple of Recon tanks in at the far right hand side because eventually we're going to have to push F, right? Or they're going to push round from F. So we need to make sure we've got some coverage there. My SHORAD, I'm just trying to get in position because I see those two helicopters back there. And I know sooner or later they're going to come play. And I want that SHORAD in their face because it will absolutely tear them apart. They're getting very close. I'm umming and ahhing whether it's worth bringing something else in to help with those. Got a little Avenger there. I haven't used it yet. Oh. Jet coming in. Quick, get the Patriot. That's a seed jet, by the way, so I'm being very careful with my Patriot there. I turned it on as the jet turns away. And now I'm engaging it, getting the hit off, and as soon as it hits, bang, damage done, turn off the radar and move the Patriot. Just keep it moving, keep it moving. You don't want it sat still. Right, back to the SHORAD. I'm trying to get in range of these helicopters. There we go. It's opening fire. Very nice. And this is where we drop a second nuke, I believe. Yeah, there it goes. Ooh. Saw a few deaths popping up there. I think the skulls are a unit dying, I think. So the few kills there for whoever dropped that. I can't remember who it was now. But very effective. The UI is a bit buggy, by the way. You know, at the top of the screen, the timer and everything, and that doesn't seem to change. I don't know if that's a bug or it's just not implemented yet. They're being sneaky at the left-hand side there. And just pull a marker down to let the other guys know. But they don't actually bring anything too exciting in there, but obviously these guys are calling in reinforcements in that direction. And that chopper's having a go. Good range on those rockets, to be honest, on the helicopters. Can't really complain, can you? My mech engineer's not looking too... Ooh! So that was the enemy nuke. I couldn't remember where they dropped it. So they dropped it all the way back there. It just seemed like a really weird place to drop it. They didn't do much. They didn't do much with it. It's a bit far back for a nuke. You'd think they'd drop it on the front line and kill all of our forward units. So I'm not sure why it went there. Not the best strategic choice. For anyone on the other team watching that. Fire at the nukes at the units in the points at the front. Be much more effective. Save back points for your artillery and stuff for behind line shenanigans. I spotted those troops then, just moving up my recon tanks, which don't see them for ages anyway, can I just say. Line of sight is still a bit squiffy in this. I've noticed a few people mention that. It's not ideal, even with recon. It's not ideal. Like, sometimes you're not seeing tanks in a tree line that is a very small tree line, and it's a bloody big tank. So, yeah, recon needs a look still. It's like my #1 complaint in Warno as well. That line of sight's still not great in that. Patriots run out of ammo. Let's get that back to the supplies. I'm kind of glad I left it back there now, just because it means I can move my Patriot all the way back, and it's not staying here at the front where it might get artilleried. I mean, as it stands right now, we're in pretty much control of the entire map. We've got E, we've got D. I'm planning to push F. You'll notice I called in more tanks. The idea is to take this point. And Protoss is thinking the same, so he's going to try and flank them. And I'm just going to charge straight in. At the minute, I'm wondering where that squad of infantry's gone. I'm going hunting. Bring in both these CEVs now. CFVs even, sorry. I feel like I haven't seen many enemy units at the moment. The odd one pops up, but I feel like I'm seeing less red or enemy units than we did in the previous beta. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just feels that way. I felt like I was seeing more. I don't know. I'm a little bit confused. Whether I'm just imagining that. It has been a while. There's Protoss going in. He's got some choppers coming in as well. They do have some AA, though. They've got man pads knocking around, so I called in my helicopters as well. But I don't get very far with them before I have to pull them back. Just realised my Patriot's still back there. Not any use right at the back. There's those man pads causing issues for Protoss. Finally found that squad of infantry. Yeah, they're not going to do much against 2 tanks. And my plan is just to go straight through this tree line and into F, cap that. Apache's coming around now. Well, Apaches do get in there. That was when the enemy team just disconnected. I mean, they're having a rough time of it. Let's be fair here. We just have complete control of the game, the map, the flow of battle. Trying to get some kills in here with these Apaches, but I'm just like, there's still a man pad there. It's a bit risky. I'll just get them out. And wait till the infantry move up and do some damage to that. Yeah, my Apache's not looking too hot there. I'm going to try and steal some supply from Protoss there, I think. He's got that Prowler still flying around at the back constantly. More cruise missiles from the enemy. Get my Patriot turned on. But it's probably going to be a bit late. Hotel captured by the enemy. That's the other side of the map. I'm trying to get some kills on their artillery and stuff in this game. That's the second set I've tried to hit. These are the mortars, though, I think. Nice sneak attack by my infantry there, but they're not faring too well against whatever that is, so I'm going to smoke them and get them out. I'm pulling the mech engineers across because they've got anti-infantry gear. Now I remember these guys have smoke. I always forget in this game you've got smoke on infantry quite a lot of the time, and you've got the sprint option. So the game just locked up here, and we all thought it had crashed. So we couldn't decide if we'd won or not, and then had it crashed, and some of the enemy team were disconnecting. We were like, do we just need to disconnect as the game crashed? It was very weird. Like, you could still hover over stuff, so it was just very strange. And then it does eventually click over to us having the victory. Took a while. We did get there. And I didn't realise that I'd done anything in that game, so I was as surprised as anybody when my kill to death ratio was 12.54. And I got all my little medals. I was like, I'm half asleep. What is going on in this game? And then I had that, so I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll take that. The other team did struggle. I mean, I assume they weren't a 5-stack. And it's always rough when you're not a 5-stack going into this type of game. Especially against players who play other games competitively. You know, you tend to have a bit of an edge. But it was good fun. Enjoying the game so far. I'm still to play the co-op mode. I want to do that. But I think it's in the right direction. I don't think it's quite ready for launch yet. I think they still need to do some work on it. Obviously, stability needs looking at, because it's definitely not perfectly stable. Whether that's just the game itself or the netcode and everything else, you know, the back end, I should say. Netcode is a silly thing to call it because it involves a lot of different things. But I was just having a look through my history, and then, you know, the Lancer got a lot of kills, more than I thought it did. I thought it only killed a couple of things. The Patriot did alright, 2 SU-34s. And it took out some missiles, which you don't get listed there. The Iron Thunder got 3 enemy artillery pieces, which is tasty. And the mech rifles did okay as well. All in all, pretty good. That Shorad didn't kill any of those, either of those helicopters. Did kill some infantry though. So, kudos to the Shorad. Not quite what it was supposed to be doing. I forgot to check my losses, but I think I lost a couple of squads of infantry. I don't think I lost anything too exciting. But yeah, good fun so far. Good opening game for me anyway. I hope everyone else is enjoying it. I will put up some more gameplay, and I'll do a proper record where I'm actually talking while I'm playing it rather than talking over it. But thank you for joining me. I'll see you all soon.